the heart of this novel is a terrible tragedy that befell people in one of the poorest countries of the world, Bangladesh. And I just thought it was an extraordinary story of good intentions gone catastrophically wrong. And it's haunted me for years, so I wanted to write about it. There was a big push from development agencies to provide clean drinking water for the population, particularly in rural areas. So there's a huge programme that was set up to dig deep tube wells because the groundwater is clean. And what happened was that subsequently the infant mortality rates went down, the rates of diarrheal disease went down, and so on. So it was considered a huge success story until it was discovered that unwittingly the tube wells had been dug down into a layer of arsenic contamination. Something like 50 to 80 million people are still drinking arsenic-contaminated water. There are really three main characters in this book. The first one is a man called Dr. Karl Szymanowski. Now, Karl is a 50-something research economist who's spent all his life working on farming systems in Africa, but he's a bit washed up. His career's not going very well. He works for a London-based research institute, and his income generating is not doing too well. And so he started doing lots of consultancies all over the world, even though it's in places that he doesn't know anything about. So he ends up being sent to Bangladesh, supposedly to come up with solutions to this problem. So that's Karl. Then there is Zafira Rahman. Zafira is a Bangladeshi woman. She grew up in the United States, but returned to Bangladesh because she wanted to continue her grandmother's work as a social activist. So Zafira goes back and she sets up her own grassroots organisation. She then discovers the scale of the arsenic contamination problem in the district where she's working. And so she starts to become an arsenic activist. So Karl and Zafira are the two pivots around which the story develops, because it's their relationship and their subsequent closeness and the real painful problems and compromises that it produces that's at the heart of the story. The third character is Arsenic, with a capital A. And I wanted to put Arsenic in as a character because arsenic has such a hold on our imaginations. And arsenic also has so many manifestations in human history that it's a triangle, really. These two people who come from very different perspectives, from different points of view, and who are in many ways on a collision course with each other, despite their personal attraction. And the collision course is around arsenic. Well, I have a long history of working in that part of the world. I've worked in international development for many years, and but I have a particular closeness to Bangladesh in some ways because I've been there really on and off since the early 1980s. I have many friends, dear friends, and colleagues there, and this story has always been one that I felt needed to be told. The theme itself can be depressing, and when you think about it, 50 million people being slowly poisoned by arsenic is a bit worrying. But actually, there's a lot of humour in the book. In all grim situations, there's humour, and I've tried to give it quite a light touch. But also, what I hope I've brought into the book is the extraordinary strength and resilience of people in Bangladesh. Also, what I would like to say about this novel is that it will appeal to people who are interested in broader issues about the state of the world. At the heart of it perhaps is these two people and their emotional lives, but it's the way in which their lives are become embedded in these larger social and political issues that I think is what I'm trying to get over in the story as well. So I hope readers who like to come out of a novel thinking, oh, I've learnt something I didn't know before, will find this novel interesting.